Good morning. Welcome to the Kickoff live event for the 2025 Personal Defense Network Training Tour. It is here. It got here quick this year for sure, and we're excited about having another big year. We have another great lineup of classes, coast to coast. A couple of them will actually be outside of the boundaries of the continental U.S. I'll be going back out to Hawaii, probably be down in Puerto Rico. Some of the other tour instructors will also be leaving the continental U.S. Very exciting year. We have some new sponsors joining us, and I'm going to give you the rundown. I'm going to give you the information that you need to understand why you should be interested in joining us on a range, in a classroom, at a seminar, a lot of combo classes. We'll be at over 50 locations this year. We'll have over 150 classes taught by 15 instructors plus myself. I'm Rob Pincus, the Executive Director of Personal Defense Network, and I think this is our 13th year of doing the tour. Personal Defense Network actually turns 20 years old as a project this year. We started in the fall of 2005 working on a DVD project that was originally going to be 12 DVDs taped over the course of a year, and we would see if anybody was interested in them. And here we are 20 years later with tens of thousands of active members at the Personal Defense Network, as well as hundreds of thousands of subscribers. We've put out a lot of DVDs over the years. Of course, we stopped doing that a handful of years ago, and now we put everything out directly to you at personaldefensenetwork.com. You can see some of the stuff on social media, some of the stuff at YouTube as well. Wherever you're watching this right now, we appreciate you tuning in. And I want you to understand what the tour is all about. Starting around 2010, we started the transition from DVDs to streaming. We knew that that platform was going to be the better option, obviously, moving forward. In the late 2010s, we stopped doing DVDs entirely. In between the launch of personaldefensenetwork.com and the transition to complete streaming, we wanted to bring something else to people. It's one thing to send a DVD to the home and obviously streaming information to your smartphones, your tablets, your computers, anywhere in the world, but we wanted you to be able to join our contributors. And we have an amazing group of talented contributors with different specialties, different areas of interest, based all over the country. And of course, because it's the PDN training tour, they'll be traveling, hopefully to a location near you, and giving you the opportunity to not just watch or listen or read the information that this great team provides, but also get out on the range, get on the mats in some cases, or even just sit in a classroom and learn from them directly. A much more obviously interactive and valuable way to do skill development and to take on the knowledge that they offer. The Personal Defense Network Training Tour has come in a couple of different variations over the years. We've always had other instructors involved. Usually it's people that have been on the videos or on the DVDs that we started in the early days. Nowadays we have people who've written articles as well as contributed to the videos here at personaldefensenetwork.com. Almost all of them also run their own businesses. So you can check out, for example, Alessandro Padavane. He runs Safer, Faster Defense. You can check out what he's doing. We've got Stronghold Dynamics is one that you'll see on Instagram posting a lot. In fact, they shared the opportunity to watch this live video recently, and that's Mike DeSargo. He's based out in California. Some of the other people we have based in North Carolina, we have Ryan and Amber Hoover with their Fit to Fight Republic. They specialize in extreme close quarters, some armed, some unarmed. Great information if you're not just looking for the firearm stuff. Of course, I mentioned Alessandro really quick in passing to talk about other businesses as an example. He specializes in close quarters work also. Not only does he run women's self-defense specialty classes, but he also brings a lot of practical knife defense information to Personal Defense Network and to you. Hotel room seminars out in the dirt, on the mats in different dojos and training areas around the country. You can look for him. Maggie Mordaunt is based out of Las Vegas. CCW Maggie, she goes by, and she actually runs the Women's Defense Network. So you can check them out as well. All these social media handles are going to be tagged and listed in everything that we put out. You can look at hashtag PDN Tour 2025. Hashtag PDN Tour 2025 is a great way to search any of the social medias to get information about what we'll be doing. And of course, you can go to personaldefensenetwork.com, follow the links to the PDN Training Tour website. What you're going to start to see this coming week is all of the populated classes that will be happening all over the country. Now, Personal Defense Network, again, relies on this team of contributors, team of instructors, and the businesses that they have set up, the host ranges, the host facilities, the gyms, the dojos all around the country that are hosting these classes, to be able to bring the classes to you, to be able to get you in the classes. So you don't deal with Personal Defense Network. We're not going to be taking your information for the registrations. We're not going to be taking the money for the registrations. All of that goes directly to the instructors, to the host facilities. Everybody's doing this out there on their own. We come together as a team to be able to give more people a higher level of awareness about the classes that we're running. Another guy that's joining us on the tour again this year is Christopher Gerke. He's based out of Ohio. He was really instrumental with the USCCA for a number of years as one of their lead instructor development guys. He's joined with us both with Guns for Everyone National. He does a lot of work with Creekside Consulting in Michigan and with my own company, ICE Training Company. Don Edwards runs Green Line Tactical. Don, former military special operator. He has really invested himself and his team heavily in the area of low light and no light training. He runs the low light night optics. I think it's a night optics summit, they call it, a specialty event that'll happen in the fall after the tour is over. But you can find him teaching all over the country. He does a lot of long range classes. He also does some really cool experiences where you get to shoot out of a helicopter as well, airborne ops class that he runs. But again, his specialty is low light and no light. Great red dot transition class also if you're interested in that. I mentioned Guns for Everyone National. Chris Gerke does a lot of work with their instructor development team led by Edgar Antillon. And Edgar and Isaac started Guns for Everyone in Colorado over a decade ago. And Guns for Everyone National is the obviously nationwide organization that they now run, a nonprofit that encourages people to be more responsible gun owners, get the education that they need. They also run the Gunmakers Match, some other competitive events that happen around the country. But Edgar is one of our instructors. He does a lot of work with me down in Mexico. And also, again, he's based out of Colorado. We'll be doing two different instructor development courses. I know that I'll be out in Colorado with him in June. One is our essentially the entry level, the 2-day course, and then we have a 3-day follow-on course as well for people interested in that coming up, and that will be on the tour calendar as well. Jason Croteau, just north of Edgar, does a lot of work down in Colorado actually, excuse me. He is based in Wyoming. His company is Wyotac. He specializes in long-range shooting, a lot of long-range opportunities to shoot up in Wyoming, obviously. So get with Jason if you're interested in that. He also is one of our intuitive defensive shooting instructors. He runs carbine classes. He also hosts some classes. I was here, Personal Defense Network, we're headquartered in the Twin Cities, just outside of the Twin Cities, and I was actually getting together with Pivotal Defense with Clayton. Clayton's going to be team teaching some medical stuff with Wyotac out there as part of the tour as well this year. We've got Jera Hutchins. She's based down in Texas, Clearing the Chamber. She specializes in small classes, a lot of private events that she runs, women, moms and daughters, girls group, but she also travels all around the country doing classes. She'll also be in Colorado, I think, coming up relatively soon. She's got a busy training schedule ahead for 2025, and she's been with us on the tour for a number of years. Ken Ortega is also based out in Las Vegas, Homeland Personal Protection. He'll be traveling more this year. He actually is from New Mexico originally, been living in Vegas for a long time, bases all of his training out of there, Boulder City, just south of Las Vegas actually. And he'll be traveling around on the tour as well, pistol and carbine classes especially. Kevin Dixie, No Other Choice Training. Used to be based in the Midwest here in Missouri, not too far from where we are right now, and now he is down in Atlanta, and he's actually standing up his own training facility. I'm really excited for him to be able to have his own range, bring people down there to him, as well as being able to travel all around the country. He does classes up here in the Twin Cities with the aforementioned Pivotal Defense, and I know he'll be moving around a lot to get a lot of good training done. Take a look at what he does. He also runs an event during the tour called the Train and Learn event. The Train and Learn event, it's probably been running about 6-7 years now, and what it focuses on is taking people who are new to the firearms industry. Maybe they have a YouTube channel, maybe they work in a gun shop, maybe they want to start a training company, and bring those people together to network and learn. Also to get some time on the range, but also do business development. So it's a really unique event in this space that you want to look for. I think that's coming up in May or June this year. Mike DeSargo, I mentioned earlier, he's on my list down here at the bottom, but he is running out of San Diego. He actually accompanied me to teach in Puerto Rico last year. He travels around doing pistol, carbine. Also, this guy, big mind for science. If you take a look at what he's contributed to PersonalDefenseNetwork.com, you're going to see that he talks a lot about integrating the body's natural reactions, how humans collect and process information. Definitely one of the guys that can explain why we train the way we train, or why you should train the way that our contributing team thinks is best for you to be prepared to defend yourself or others. Check out Mike's stuff, seminar format, as well as live fire range stuff. And then two guys that have been with me for a long time, both in ICE Training Company, through the USCCA program that we did as a collaboration, obviously here at Personal Defense Network, and they've hosted our Training Talk live monthly show for a number of years. Derek Poole, who's out of Florida, and Barrett Kendrick out of Louisiana. It really is an incredible team. Any one of these instructors you could probably spend 4, 5, 6, 7 days with them and always be learning something new and definitely be getting better prepared to use the personal defense skills, the medical skills, the unarmed defense skills, the firearm skills, obviously, or just learning the strategy, the tactics, the training protocols. Again, several of the people on that list do instructor development, helping others that want to help others as well. So it's just incredibly proud to work with these people. They will be traveling again over 150 classes, over 50 locations all around the country. And the tour officially kicks off this week. So the tour normally runs about 6 months. So we're kicking off this week. We're going to go to the end of September. Now, that doesn't mean that people aren't out teaching and training all year round. It's just when we focus on the tour. So what makes a tour class really for us is the collaborative marketing, obviously, the sort of third-party recommendation that we're all giving to one another to encourage people to seek out this information. It's all vetted information. These are all incredibly professional people. Most of them have been teaching for a long, long time. I don't think there's anybody on the list. As I look up and down the cheat sheet I've got here under the camera, I don't think we've got anybody who's been doing this for less than a decade, honestly. Chris Gerke might be one of the guys who I've known for the least amount of time, but I think I've been working with him now 6 or 7 years. And he really, again, focuses on instructor development and supporting a lot of the other teams that are out here on the tour. But everybody else here, if you've been watching Personal Defense Network, even going back to the DVD days, you're very familiar with a lot of these names, obviously. The other side of the tour, the other list, the other cheat sheet that I've got, is the tour sponsors. Tour sponsors are important. They not only do they help cover some of the travel expenses for the instructors as they're moving around, but also they provide product both for demonstration and use in the classes. So let's say that you show up to a class, one of my classes, we're doing an intuitive defensive pistol class, and your gun breaks 30 minutes into the class. Or we find out, an hour or 2 hours into class, you've made a purchase, the gun doesn't just fit your hand super well, it's not optimized for you, you're not being as efficient as you can be, maybe some of the levers or buttons are hard for you to reach, the way the ergonomics work, they don't really get together with your hand well, so it might have been a bad choice, or it might be an actual malfunction, something we can't just quickly fix on the range, a broken part, something like that. Boom, Canic is going to come to the rescue. So I'll be traveling around, as will the other instructors. When we do our live fire classes, we'll bring a lot of these products, a lot of these sponsors, provide them to us so that we can have them at the classes, so that I can hand you a Canic. In this case, it would be an MC9 LS, one of the new offerings. We're also going to have the MC9 Prime, sort of the bells and whistles version of the MC9 LS out on the tour with us this year. And you'll be able to use that gun, probably in a G-code holster. So Canic USA, Canic is obviously made outside of the country for the most part, but not the Prime. Their new Canic MC9 Prime is a US-made gun. They're imported through Century Arms, and now the Canic that is produced in the US will be out with us on the tour. So we're excited for them to now have a US-produced gun, and we're going to be excited to be able to share it with you on the range. And even if your gun doesn't go down during the lunch break, towards the end of the day at the classes, there's no problem with, hey, I'd like to shoot a few rounds out of it. So we're going to take some Freedom ammunition, and one of our sponsors, we'll load it up in the magazines for the Canic, and we'll give you a G-code, probably a paddle holster at that point, and put you out on the range and let you, after having gone through the class with your gun, get your hands on some of these other products, which is always a lot of fun. High-Vis is also back. We can see their light wave technology sights. These are actually their co-witness sights that are set up to go with a red dot. They're more of a suppressor height type sight. This sight set will be the one that we're featuring out on the tour on some guns. We'll also have the Fast Fire, their H3 system, which we talked about again. We talked about it last year. It was out on the tour with us. You'll also see that probably mounted on some of the Canic guns that we're going to have in our demo collection. So let's see, we've got Canic, we've got G-code, we've got High-Vis, we've got Freedom Munitions, again, is out there. We just did another video set up with the Hush ammunition, their subsonic offering. If you haven't seen the gel test of the X-Def, their hollow point defensive round, which is a very affordable, very reliable, in my experience, defensive round, feeds really well, good hollow point, performs really well in the gel. Check out those videos we've got. All of these sponsors, for the most part, have been with us for years. We will have videos. If we don't have them up already, we'll have some new videos coming out with the newest, latest products as well during the tour. And all of the social media that is posted by myself, by Personal Defense Network, or any of the other members of the tour team that I was talking about earlier will be posting videos and pictures, not only of their use and their thoughts, but also, I think really importantly, the students' thoughts. So people just like you that come to the classes, what did you think when you tried out the MC9LS? What did you think about the G-code holsters? Gideon Optics is one of our new sponsors this year. Gideon is an up-and-coming company. They've probably been on the market for, I'm going to say 4 or 5 years now. Maybe I've known about them for 4 or 5 years. They are based in Western Pennsylvania. They have just added an enclosed emitter optic that's going to look great on this MC9LS or the MC9 Prime. This micro prism actually sitting up here on this rifle, or in this case AR type pistol, a great etched reticle as well as the illumination, so it's a great backup. Really high quality, really affordable price, and they are really starting to break out and expand their line. So I mentioned the enclosed emitter for the RMS-C thin platform footprint for your slim carry guns, but they also have some great LPVOs as well as your traditional open emitter pistol dots, and again micro prisms, red dots for rifles and pistols, things like that. So keep an eye on what we're going to be sharing information wise. We have not had very many videos with Gideon at personaldefensenetwork.com. That's all going to change this year, and we're excited to have them on the tour. Another company that's joining us for the first time on the tour is Real Avid. Real Avid makes all kinds of accessories. For those of you who don't know, I also own a firearms manufacturing company, and in our assembly area, the mats, a lot of the tools that we use are actually Real Avid products. It's high quality stuff, and you're going to see some of that out on the range as well. Not just for demonstration and hey, take a look at this, see this, here's a toolkit, here's a nice work mat, things like that from Real Avid. But also, sometimes in these classes, it's just a reality of being out on the range and running hundreds of rounds a day, maybe 1,000 rounds over the weekend in some of these classes through a handgun or through a rifle. Things can go wrong. Or maybe your optic goes down. We're going to take out our Real Avid toolkit, we're going to pull one of the Gideon demo optics off of our demo gun and put it on your gun, and maybe you'll be able to run that, or just run our demo gun. We'll see how it goes, right? And all the classes, we're always trying to be very adaptable, take care of the students, give them the information they need, and let you have the experience to leave with as much preparation as possible. And a lot of times that means using our gear or using some of our loaner gear out there in the class. Another piece of gear that's out here on the table that I use pretty frequently in class, if not every class, it's really close, is the CERT pistol, NLT CERT Next Level Training. The NLT CERT company has been with us, I think, since year 1 of the tour. They may be the only sponsor that's been with us absolutely every single year. And it's great to be back with them. I will be out at NLT headquarters in Washington State. It's been a couple years since I was out there with Britt and Mike and their team doing classes, but I am going to do some classes this year on the tour. You'll see those pop up, probably be in August, in the Pacific Northwest. Great time of year to be out there with great people. And they are really serious and dedicated to helping people get as much out of their training products as possible. And obviously, the laser training, we can do a lot of things with the CERT pistol that we can't do live fire. So if we're in certain environments where we can't have a live gun, or it's not safe, not prudent, not best practice to have a live gun, even if it's cleared and triple checked and double checked, we switch to the CERT pistol or the CERT stick, the rifle version of the CERT trainer. I just did an extreme close quarters class, extreme close quarters shooting class, where in the morning we did live fire, contact shooting, or shooting when contact is imminent, compressed shooting positions. Then in the afternoon, we worked on trying to make sure that we can retain control of our gun if someone gets a hand on it, trying to dissuade them or make it impossible in some cases for them to get their hand on the gun based on the way we move it, the way we carry it, our ready position, whether we're in 2 hands or 1 hand. Almost all of that work is best done with a CERT pistol, especially when you're in a classroom setting, everybody's learning how to do it. And obviously any of the hands-on stuff, the CERT pistol is great for that as well. Another company that is with us this year, back with us this year, is Cape Gunworks. Cape Gunworks, I'll be teaching there in less than a month. I'll be up in Massachusetts, out on the Cape, obviously. Cape Gunworks is an incredible story. I want to say it's been 10, 12 years since I first met the owners, Brendan and Toby. And first they were students. They came to a class hosted by John Green up in Worcester. This was before they even had a shop. Then they opened a shop. Then they started hosting classes. They had a little kind of strip mall gun shop with big plans. And great guys, really dedicated not only to their own personal education, but also providing products at a fair price and trying to develop opportunities for other people to train. They ended up going through instructor development, teaching with me in different parts of the country, starting to teach on their own, obviously, in Massachusetts. And then they built the Cape Gun Works that exists today, an incredible range and retail facility in Massachusetts. And they are very active in the fight to defend gun rights in that somewhat oppressed area, actually oppressed area if you're a gun owner. It's not the easiest state to own guns in. It's certainly not the easiest state to own a gun range or to sell guns in, but they are fighting a really good fight up there. They also have an online store. So if you go to capegunworks.com, you can find a lot of the products that we talk about at Personal Defense Network, fair prices, they'll ship anywhere. Obviously, they'll abide by, if you're in California, they can't ship you the regular capacity magazine, stuff like that. But capegunworks.com is the online retail sponsor of the Personal Defense Network Training Tour, so check them out. And if you're in New England, maybe come train with us when I'm there. I'll be there for sure in April. I may be back in September as well. Also at Cape Gun Works, Cape Gun Works is the home of Rapid Fire Radio, and Toby, one of the aforementioned owners of Cape Gun Works, is the host of Rapid Fire Radio. I will be on Rapid Fire Radio this week doing another conversation with Toby about kicking off the tour and talk a little bit more detail about the classes I'll be offering, not just in Massachusetts, but all over the country. So take a look at Rapid Fire Radio. All of the instructors, all the contributors on the Personal Defense Network Training Tour team this year will take turns throughout the next 6 months. They'll probably each be on there 2 or 3 times, jumping on maybe just 10, 15 minutes, 20 minutes. Some of them will go longer and talk more about their training, their experiences, talk about the products that we have out on the tour with us, talk about the sponsors and what they do to support us and support people who want to be able to defend themselves, want to be able to protect themselves. Tour sponsors, if you go back over the years and you look at the other kickoff events or the other tour wrap-ups or the tour updates, sometimes I'll do from out at the ranges where I'm actually teaching the classes at the end of the day. You'll know that I always talk a lot about the sponsors. Now, it's not just because they're advertisers. We do have an advertising relationship with them, but notice that they're category exclusive, first of all, so we don't have multiple handgun companies. We don't have multiple optic companies. We are specifically locked in to a category, and that means it's somewhat exclusive. So every year we will go back, and that's why we have a lot of these companies that come back year after year, and they've been with us, some of them going all the way back to the beginning of the tour, like NLT CERT. Because we go back to them, we say, here's what we learned, here's what the students said, here's what their thoughts were, here's the feedback we get to them helps them in their product development. I think the MC9 LS is a perfect example of a very evolved product from the original MC9. In fact, I did a video probably about 2 months ago. You can find it at personaldefensenetwork.com comparing the original MC9 to the MC9 LS, and I'm sure you're going to see one coming up later this year that'll compare the MC9 LS to the MC9 Prime, because that also is an evolution. It's a full-featured version of that same platform from the Meta family of guns, and really some huge steps have been made. And I'm sure that at some level of the conversation, the feedback from gun owners, from students, from people who are actually training and working with the original guns leads to the evolution and development, like it would at any good company that's listening to what their customers want and need. So we have a great relationship with these sponsors. They provide the product, they provide obviously some funding to get the instructors to help them do their travel. We get out to the students, you get to experience their products firsthand, and don't be shy about it. If you're coming to a class and for whatever reason, somebody else's gun went down and they got the MC9 LS, and then an hour later somebody else's gun goes down and they get the MC9 Prime, your gun's running great, but you're really curious about it, let me know, let the other instructors know. It's part of the experience of going to a training tour class. It's one of the things that makes it different. You get the logos and you get the advertising and you get a patch, maybe a t-shirt. So there's something special about the certificate because it's a training tour class, but really it's about the high level of interaction, not just watching a video, not just listening to a lecture, not just reading an article, but spending 5, 6, 7, 8 hours, maybe 2, 3, 4 days with this contributor team, people who are really passionate about what they do as educators, not just as performers, not just demonstrators. They don't want to just talk to this empty camera lens. They really do want to interact, and part of that interaction is involving the gear as well. So again, running down personaldefensenetwork.com is a place you can go to get all the links, all the videos. You can see the contributions from these instructors. Again, well vetted, well experienced. You can go and see what they're training, what they're talking about at personaldefensenetwork.com. Go to PDNtrainingtour.com. You'll see that calendar. Again, it's not completely populated today as we do our kickoff event, but over the next couple weeks, you'll see that get filled out with those scores of classes that'll be happening all over the country. Get registered, get to the range, get to the classroom, get out on the mats. Incredible team. Alessandro, Amber, Ryan, Derek, Barrett, Maggie, Chris, Mike, who am I forgetting? Ken, is out there. Jara is out there. Kevin Dixie's out there. Edgar, Jason, and Don. I think I got everybody. And then welcoming back Kennick, G-Code, Next Level Training, CERT, Cape Gunworks, Freedom Munitions, High Viz, and Rapid Fire Radio, being joined this year by Real Avid and Gideon Optics. Lots more to come along the many months of the tour. We will do some tour updates, and of course we'll wrap everything up in the fall. Most important thing you can do, take a look at personaldefensenetwork.com. If you're watching this video, you know we exist, you know how to get there, the links are all over the place. Take a look at what these companies offer. Take a look at exactly what these instructors are offering in their classes. Get signed up, and hopefully we'll see you, if not in one of my classes, at least I'll see you in social media, because it's important that you tell people you're out there training. Encourage other people in the firearms community and otherwise to be as prepared as they can be to defend themselves or others when they need to. Thank you.